Hey, it's Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb, and on this episode, we're going to do a keto success story. Coming up next. Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb. I am so excited to do a keto success interview. Let me go ahead and jiggle my camera and get Lena added, but I'm really pumped to have her on to talk further about success with keto. I bought like 6 pounds.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? I got to turn you up so I can hear you. Hang on here a second. Let's figure out which one I do this with. Okay, let's see. I think maybe I've got you now. Oh, perfect. Yes.
You got me? Well, welcome.
I've got you.
I'm so excited you are here, and it's so nice to meet you. Hi. I feel like humbled.
Hi.
It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Everybody, this is Lena. I wanted to have her share her keto success journey, because to me, when I hear people are super successful with keto, I'm like, and I need to pick their brain. And I feel like you've been so successful. So can you tell everyone how much you've lost with keto? Is that okay? Can we start there?
Yes, we can. I have lost 70 pounds. I have been doing keto this round for 3 years. I have been maintaining that 70-pound weight loss for about 18 months. I went from a size very tight 24 to a 12.
You are so inspirational. Okay, sister, let's go back. Let's go back, because when I hear that, and I know other people are going to do this, when they hear that, they're going to start comparing themselves, and like the squirrel cage is going to run. So take us back to 3 years ago. Where were you? What place were you in? Kind of take us through the journey.
Okay, I'm going to take you back 20 years, actually.
Okay.
So I'm 64. In my 40s, I did diet. I did Dr. Atkins, and I lost 70 pounds, kept it off for 10 years. And then my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I did some emotional eating, and during that time period, I was also stalked by a sexual predator. And so I did some self-sabotage and put weight on to protect myself. So then my mother passed, and it took me about 8 years to pull myself out of a terrible slump and say, hey, no more of this. And I have 2 young grandchildren that I couldn't keep up with. I weighed 234 pounds. I had terrible arthritis. I spent a lot of days in bed. So I woke up one morning and said, this is not how I want to live. I'm changing my life. I know that I can do low carb. I've done that before. So I did a little research and found keto. And so 3 years ago, I started. And it took me, I want to say, maybe 12 months to lose that 70 pounds. I am now no longer on any kind of prescription medication, no high blood pressure, no cholesterol medication, no pain medication for the arthritis. I can keep up with my grandsons. I can chase them. We can ruffle and scuffle, and life is good.
I have goosebumps. I really do, because you have beat the odds, so to speak, with a lot of people don't get to where you are with this. So you had touched on emotional eating. How did you go from having emotional eating to not emotional eating? What was the flip for you to make that? Did you still engage? I mean, did you still engage in emotional eating, or?
Yes, and emotional eating is a huge battle for me, and that will be a continuing battle, I'm sure. I've done years of therapy with a wonderful woman who has helped me to deal with some of those scars from childhood molestation. And I do find myself periodically in a place, something will happen, and I'll find myself standing in front of the refrigerator, and I'll say, okay, Lena, what's going on? What has happened now that you're standing in front of the refrigerator? And so I step back and I take a little bit of stock in what's happening with my life, analyze, and say, okay, no, we're not doing that to ourselves again. We're not doing self-sabotage ever again. I just try to be cognizant of it. And the other thing is there's nothing in the refrigerator that's not keto for me to eat anyway.
Right. So along those, so taking a right turn, because this to me, 3 years to me is, so I have my year anniversary is coming up like soon.
That's wonderful.
And so thank you. But 3 years to me seems so, that's so cool. That's so cool. So I'm stumbling over my words because I'm so excited. I'm so excited because to me, this is a long-term success, right? When people say they lose weight, it's like, okay, that's awesome. But to do it for 3 years to me is super, super inspiring. So what would you say for somebody who's along their journey, success tips for them?
Success tips are keep it simple. KISS, keep it simple. Pardon the expression stupid. You're not stupid if you're on keto and trying to take control of your life. But really keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Get a support group. I don't have friends who are doing keto locally with me. And when I first started this, my husband refused to go on this with me. He is now on board and has lost 50 pounds. But I do have some girlfriends who are absolutely wonderful, and they keep me on track. So you need a support group, be it social media, which I have, obviously, since I have found you. Dr. Ken Berry is wonderful. There are numerous social media sites, but you really need somebody in your own backyard, so to speak, that can help you when you're struggling and you want to take that bite of birthday cake or what have you, and they'll remind you, no, you really don't want to do that. So keep it simple and have a support group, and also one day at a time, say, I can do this for today. Don't look out beyond to, okay, can I do this for 3 years? You're just get it done for today. That's all you're worrying about is today. Break it down into smaller increments.
Yes, I was just talking with somebody, and they're watching right now. I'm sending you love to this person who's watching, about literally taking it one meal at a time, of even breaking the 24 hours down if that's too big into smaller, just I'm going to eat this meal keto. You've gone with the keto, and then you now do intermittent, well, you're doing intermittent fasting, right?
Yes, I've just started intermittent fasting. My blood glucose is a little higher than I would like it to be, and I don't want to go down that road of having to take insulin. So I've just, like you, I've just started the intermittent fasting. I feel great. Dropped about 5 pounds where I hadn't lost anything for quite some time. And it's pretty easy, you just stop eating at, 8 o'clock at night. Your first meal's at noon if you want to go 16 hours, or, most of the time I'm hitting about 18 hours now on a regular basis with intermittent fasting. Little afraid to jump in there and do to do any longer. 24 hours sounds okay, but beyond that, I'm a little afraid of that just yet. We'll take it slow and simple.
Yes. I'm getting very comfortable with the 24 hours, but past that, I'm like, Jared was doing 5 days. I'm like, God bless, that is awesome, but I am not there. I'm not there yet by any means. It's cool to see other people do it though. What tips would you have for somebody who's doing intermittent fasting? Because you, my friend, were a source of encouragement for me when I started intermittent fasting.
Oh, well, thank you. You were for me as well. Just to start out with doing a smaller increment, do 12 hours at a time. That's not a big deal. You're going to go to bed anyway. Eat your last meal, go to bed. Start out with 12 hours. I will tell you the most difficult thing for me to give up was that stevia in my coffee in the morning, because that affects your insulin level, and that was really difficult for me to give up. It took me about a week, but I'm doing okay with it now. A little baking soda and some pink salt has really helped with that, and some MCT oil. So that's what I do for my bulletproof coffee, and that really helps me. Just that little bit of fat In the morning helps me not be hungry, and I'm satiated, and I can go until about 2 or 3 before I have a meal. And honestly, I could probably go longer, but you know, I look at the clock and say, "Oh, gee, Lena, you haven't had anything to eat," you know. So I got to get over that clock telling me what time it is to eat and listening to my body.
Yes. Yes. Someone asked, what does the baking soda do?
The baking soda, you just put a pinch in, and it just kind of takes the acidic taste out of the coffee so that you don't need that sweetener.
Wonderful, wonderful. Other people have said how social media has been a support for them, and everybody who's said that. Likewise, you've been a support for me. I love that Jeannie said Dale Carnegie said, live a day type boxes, which is true. I feel the same, like
Yes.
little compartments is helpful. What other tips? What's your favorite keto meal?
Eggs and bacon. Eggs and bacon.
Yep. Yep. What do you like to eat when you're out? Do you go out to eat?
Yes, I go out to eat all the time, and I have, you know, generally any type of a salad you can find to eat, a good steak. Most restaurants that I frequent are very happy to accommodate me. I have learned that I don't say I don't eat carbs. I say I'm allergic to sugar. And when I say I'm allergic to sugar, they absolutely freak. And then they want to make sure there's no sugar in whatever I'm asking about. Whereas opposed to, I say, well, you know, if you got, you know, can you tell me the ingredients in this? They sort of poo-hoo me off. But if I say I'm allergic to sugar, which I am, because I am so carb sensitive,
yes.
Then they get in there and they find out if there's any sugar in anything. So that's been a real tip for me, as opposed to say, well, I don't eat flour. Well, they say, well, we've got something gluten-free. Well, gluten-free isn't my issue. So I've learned to just say I'm allergic to sugar.
I love that. Rhonda and I both agree this is a great restaurant tip. I love that.
Well,
I'm going to start using that. Because when I say, oh, I don't eat carbs, people do kind of poo-poo me. They're like,
yeah,
like,
they poo-poo me.
serious.
So I'm allergic to sugar. They don't want a lawsuit. They're quickly finding out what ingredients are.
Love that. Okay, what other arsenal do you have in your, because that's a really good one. If anything, that right there, Lena, is an awesome, awesome tip. What other tips do you have? We talked a little bit about your bulletproof coffee. What else makes you feel successful with keto?
I'm always prepared. I never leave the house without something that I know I can eat. I keep a couple of things in my glove compartment of my car so that if I'm out running errands and I get hungry and I get caught, I'm not going to make a bad mistake. I'm not going to go through the drive-through and pick up something that I shouldn't have, or be checking out at Target and see all those wonderful chocolate candy bars and what have you and pick one of those up. I keep something in my purse in the glove compartment of my car, and I've always got a bottle of water with me, a stainless steel bottle of water with me. So those are the two things that I always have something that I can grab so that I don't make a mistake. And if I do make a mistake, my favorite go-to, I keep Epic salami sticks in the car and some nuts. Those are pretty shelf stable. The other thing I've learned to do is most convenience markets will have hard-boiled eggs these days, or string cheese. You can run in and grab that in a bottle of water, and you're not making mistakes. I just went to my dad's for a week in Tennessee, and so my family's from the South, and you know, biscuits and gravy, and you know, all of those kinds of things. And I did not gain an ounce. I did not lose. I did not gain. And I prepared all of the meals for everybody in the family, cooked exactly how my mother would have prepared the meals for my dad. But I ketofied them for myself so that I could eat what everybody else was eating and didn't feel left out, but I stayed on plan. So, you know, I just have learned how to how to adapt and how to modify things so that I don't feel left out or deprived. I do have to say that my brother, bless his heart, his contribution to one of the meals was to make all of the pies my mother made at the holidays, and he makes them exactly as my mother did, and I didn't have even one bite.
Good for you. High five,
Nope.
sister. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you.
That
Not
is
even
amazing.
one bite. I wasn't tempted. He brought them in, and I thought, oh, Lord, have mercy on me. I'm going to have a terrible time with this. And I said to myself, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
That's kind of my mantra these days.
I love it. I love it. I love it. If you're just joining us, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, make sure you share this video. I'm with the amazing Lena, who has been on keto for 3 years. She's been on previous to that, but this stint has been 3 years, is an amazing source of encouragement. Can you tell everybody again how much weight you've lost?
70 pounds.
70 pounds. 70 pounds she's lost. It, to me, has been a huge source of encouragement in our Countess of Low Carb Facebook group. Whenever I see her comments, my eyes and my ears perk up because she has wisdom. And I love the way that you've done keto, and it's helpful. Your tips are always practical and helpful, and we're getting a lot of wow comments because it is a wow.
Oh, well, thank you.
Lena has an amazing story. So what else can you share? You have amazing grandchildren. So with the grandchildren around, does any sort of like sticky, ooey gooey little kid treats, does that ever trip you up or trigger you when you're
No, they actually have a drawer in my house that has all of their little treats. Their organic goldfish type stuff, and their whatever other little things that they like. They do not do keto, however, they love bacon and eggs. And that is a drawer that's for them, and I don't get into it. It's there. It doesn't tempt me anymore. The reason that keto works for me is I am truly a carbaholic, and I know that about myself, and I know that if I ever go off of the wagon, so to speak, and I have that sugar, then will have, that's it. I'm off the wagon, and I'm back to eating carbs again. So that's why keto works for me. It's restrictive. I simply know that about myself, and I can't allow myself to have the things with wheat and sugar in them that are going to trigger that carb craving for me. And so I don't allow myself to have it. The other thing I have done is I found substitutes for things. I do keep Lily's chocolate bars in the house. Not that I'm going to eat them, but they're there. And so I know I have something if I really, really get that craving. I'm not going to be deprived. However, I can't even remember the last time I had. It's probably been 6-8 months since I've had a small piece of Lily's chocolate. But just simply knowing that it's there and it's an option kind of helps me with that.
Yeah. Do you have for your traditional meals that you have, do you incorporate in sugar-free products or not so much?
I have all of the ingredients to do that, and I am a wonderful, I'll tout my own horn, I'm a fabulous cook. And I oftentimes will bake something, and I'll have a bite or two of it, and then it's in the freezer. The freezer's full of all kinds of goodies. I just don't seem to need them anymore. My body doesn't want that anymore. A typical meal for me is bacon and eggs in the morning. Since I've been doing intermittent fasting, that's how I break my fast. And then at dinner, I generally have some form of meat, and always a half of an avocado every day. Avocado is wonderful for you. And then some type of low-carb vegetable. And that's generally a meal for me. If I have a snack, it's usually some cheese, string cheese, some nuts. I measure everything. I'm one of those that I track my macros. I measure. I've got a food scale, and I measure everything. So if I'm going to have pistachios, they get measured out, so that I don't have carb creep. Carb creep is extremely easy, and I don't want carb creep, because when I start carb creeping, I put on a pound or two, and I don't want that. Mm-hmm. I don't want that. So,
have you done that for most part of most
of my 3-year journey? Yes.
3 years. Yes.
Yes.
Judy, you're from Franklin. Is I'm sorry, someone was commenting that.
Franklin is very near where my dad lives. Yeah.
Ah, very cool. Very cool. Is that near Tennessee?
Yeah. That is in Tennessee.
Sorry,
she's in Franklin.
It's
sort of
Nashville.
Okay, so I actually live in Northern California, but she's in Franklin. Judy's in Franklin, which is a kind of a suburb of Nashville area. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. We've been talking with CPS, Child Protective Services, for a young man for fostering in Franklin County. So that's why I was like, Franklin, I know Franklin. I've been trying to get CPS to call me back. Anyways, I digress. Sorry, that just tricked. Anyways, I've been waiting for a phone call from them. So with your travels, though, did you have any travel tips with keto that you found, like being in an airport or anything like that? Was there anything that you had tips on for keto?
Okay, so I ate airport food. The trip, we flew out of Oakland, and in the Oakland airport there was a restaurant I could get bacon and eggs, except I got it in the form of an omelet. I asked if they put any fillers or pancake mix in their omelets. You have to always ask that question whenever you order an omelet, and tell them, again, you're allergic to sugar and you can't have the pancake batter in the eggs, because they'll tell you that there isn't, when quite possibly there could be. So I had an omelet. I carried a salami and cheese stick with me, and some nuts, and got a big bottle of water, and that's what I had on the plane. And my grandsons were with me this time. They had all of their little snacky poos, and I managed to stay out of them. They didn't were not didn't affect me at all. And then coming back, I picked up a salad that was a Cobb salad, and I can have everything in the salad, and I had that on the plane coming back to California. And again, I carried, a couple of little keto-friendly snacks, so that whenever the basket of cookies and whatever came by from the flight attendants, I said, no, thank you, I have my own. So again, I'm always prepared. I always carry something that I know I can eat, so that I don't make poor decisions.
So I know there's people that are going to be watching. Maybe verbally they'll say it in public, or behind the scenes they'll message me and say, that's great, but I don't think I could live such a rigid lifestyle. What would be your comment back to that?
I don't miss anything. It's easy to do. Over my years of gaining and losing weight, I've been on tried several different options. Keto is not a diet. It is a way of life. It is a lifestyle. I have embraced it. You just need to embrace it and understand the health benefits that you're going to have. It's not all about losing weight. Yes, for me, that was what it was, starting out to lose weight, but I have no inflammation in my joints anymore. I don't even need to take a Tylenol anymore. And I was sometimes in bed for days at a time with the pain in my knees. I was headed down the road to have knee surgery, knee replacements. I'm not any longer. So it's not just about weight. You have to look about your overall health. And when you cut out that crap, you become healthier. My skin has changed. People tell me I look younger. I have more energy. I'm not in pain. I'm not on, I'm 64 and I'm not taking any prescription medications,
Amazing. It's absolutely amen. Someone says amen. Yes, amen. That's right. That is truly, you are an inspiration for what you're doing. I think that 3 years it's a big deal to stay on this. So how did you make it through the holidays? Like, you just knew that the greater good of you being healthful as opposed to having Christmas stuff or holiday stuff balanced it out?
Okay, I make it through the holidays because I always do the cooking.
Ooh, do tell. Tell me more.
So we have a small family here in Northern California. I have one daughter. She has two sons. And so there are not many of us, and I just always volunteer, I'll cook. So I cook the meal, and I make it keto friendly. And if they want mashed potatoes, fine and dandy. You can have mashed potatoes. I'll have mashed cauliflower. You want, here's something that my family does. We have a group of people that come to my house for St. Patrick's Day every year. And so everybody wants the red potatoes with their corned beef and cabbage. Well, I buy huge radishes and throw them right in the pot with the corned beef, and I have radishes rather than the potatoes. I'm not missing anything. I just have figured out how to substitute something else so that it's comparable to what everybody else is eating. If somebody wants to bring pumpkin pie, fine. I have a recipe to make a keto pumpkin pie. I'm not going to miss out on anything. That's how I manage the holidays.
I love it. You're not missing out on anything. I also love that you keyed in on something earlier that I feel to me is so profound, is that you know yourself well enough to know that you can't have carbs. You're allergic to sugar, which sugar is carbs, basically, the way our bodies break it down. And I think that that's so profound. That really, to me, is the more and more I get to know myself, the more I know I can't go back to that lifestyle. To me, it is an addiction of that. I cannot stop when I have carbs or sugar or whatever. I cannot.
And what's interesting now is if I'm someplace out, and well, here's an example. I was looking for some keto treats to take with me on my trip that I just took last week, and I'm in Trader Joe's, and I've left my glasses in the car, and I can't read, and there's a new product, and I'm thinking, oh, this sounds really great. Oh, I didn't bring my glasses, I can't read, so I mumbled, why didn't you bring your glasses? And the guy standing next to me says, what do you need to know off of it? And I said, what are the carbs and the fiber? So he tells me the carbs and the fiber, and I go, okay, great, that works in my macros. I buy it. I open it on the plane. I put one piece of it in my mouth, and I know immediately that there's sugar in it. So I put my glasses on, read the ingredients. Second ingredient is sugar. I took it out of my mouth. I folded up the thing, and when the flight attendant came by, it went in the trash. So my body is so susceptible to sugar that I can tell immediately as soon as it hits my tongue.
Yes.
Or wheat. Yes. Wheat, also the same thing. Where was I the other day? I think I went to Olive Garden, and I wanted to get just some chicken and broccoli with some Alfredo sauce.
Yes.
And I ordered that, and I took a taste of the Alfredo sauce, and I could taste the flour immediately. So I left it off, and I had broccoli and chicken. It was fine. I didn't miss anything, and I didn't sabotage myself by going ahead and eating the Alfredo sauce.
I know that we need to wrap up our time. I'm cognizant of the time, but I have one more question that I've been dying to know. How did you know 3 years ago that you were just done? You were done. Did you have a point that you came to? Did you have like a come to Jesus moment? Like,
I had a come to Jesus moment. I'd been 6 weeks in bed with knees so painful that I couldn't walk. And I was spending most of my time in bed. And I said, I can't live like this. I can't live like this. I can't live having this much pain and having to be in bed. I have to do something to help myself. I'm the only one who can help myself. I have to do it. And I knew that the low carb had worked for me before, and so that's where I went down that road again.
You are
Someone's
amazing.
asking about hair shed. I see hair shedding. Mindy's asking about hair shedding. Yes, your hair will shed at first. Don't be concerned. It's going to come back healthier than it was. Just it takes about 9 months. Your body's just readjusting to burning different type of fuel. It's all good. Hang in there. Your hair will come back.
Lena, you are such an amazing source of encouragement, wisdom, and you've been through it. You've been through the been through. So I'm grateful that you were able to do a keto success interview with us. Everybody, please make sure you give this a like or give it a heart. Make sure you love it. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe. If you have other questions for Lena, please put them below. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put replay below. I would love, Lena, if you'd like to come back in a few weeks or months, I would love to follow back up because I'm sure other people want to hear more about your journey because you are very inspiring.
Thank you. I'd love to. And somebody just asked if I had the knee surgery. No. No to the knee surgery.
And
the
no
loss of weight and no. And I was on some pretty heavy duty pain medication that wasn't working, and I was going to have to go to the next level of pain meds, and I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. So.
And now you run and chase your grandchildren.
I do. Toss them in the air, flip them upside down. I'm their personal jungle gym. It's wonderful.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's always a
you're
pleasure
more than
talking
welcome.
to you, and it's nice to meet you. So everybody have a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.